Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. This time we're taking a look at some really interesting new research about a system called Marco that stands for Multi-Agent Real-Time Chat Orchestration. Now, I know what you're thinking, another AI acronym, really. But trust me on this one's a big deal. Because Marco isn't just one AI, it's like a whole team of AIs, all working together.
It's kind of like having a personalized team of digital assistants, each one with like its own special skill set. And it's built to tackle some of those really complex, real-world problems. You know, the kind of stuff that even the most advanced AI systems struggle with.
Yeah, because let's be honest, right? Sometimes it feels like even the most advanced AI just doesn't quite get what we're asking,
hmm
especially when it comes to those multi-step tasks. It's like, sure, you can write me a poem, but can you help me plan out my next marketing campaign?
Exactly. Traditional LLMs, those large language models, they can sometimes run into problems with inconsistencies in their output. They struggle to integrate with real-world tools, and they often lack the very specific domain knowledge you need for certain jobs.
Hmm.
And that's where Marco shines.
Okay, so walk me through this. How does Marco tackle those limitations?
Okay, well, imagine you're putting together the ultimate AI dream team. You'd want a diverse set of skills, right?
Right.
And that's exactly how Marco is structured. It's got four key components: the intent classifier, retrieval augmented generation, RAG, MARS, which stands for multi-agent reasoner and orchestrator, and of course, guardrails.
Okay, break those down for me. So the intent classifier is that like the team's communication expert, making sure everybody understands the task at hand.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. It's like a digital receptionist, figuring out exactly what you need, whether you're asking a simple question, requesting information, or you're handing off a complex task for the whole team to handle.
Gotcha. And then you've got RAG, that's the research whiz. Like if you need to pull up information from
Yeah.
databases, documents, or the web, RAG's your expert. It's like having a super powered research assistant right there at your fingertips.
Exactly.
And to keep all of those experts working together, you need a project manager, right? That's where Mars comes in. It's the one that takes your complex request, breaks it down into smaller, more manageable steps, and then figures out which AI agent on the team is best suited for each step. So Mars is making sure everything gets done in the right order with the right expertise applied at each stage. That's pretty impressive. But no team is perfect, right?
So tell me about these guardrails. Are they like the quality control specialists making sure things don't go off the rails?
Precisely. Guardrails are there to spot and fix errors. Like, let's say an AI agent misunderstands your instructions or tries to use a tool that doesn't even exist. They ensure reliable and safe task execution, which is super important when you're talking about real-world applications.
Okay, this all sounds incredibly complex, but I bet you have a way to explain it so even I can understand.
Well, let's take a real-world scenario.
Yeah.
Imagine you're a restaurant owner and you've noticed a dip in sales. You're not sure what's causing it, so you turn to Marco for help. Okay, I'm with you so far. I've got a problem, and I'm asking Marco to help me solve it. So what happens next?
Well, first, that intent classifier we talked about kicks in. It recognizes your intent, which in this case is to figure out why sales are down and to do something about it. Marco understands that you need to take action to fix this problem.
So it's not just understanding the words I'm saying, it's understanding my underlying need. That's pretty cool.
Right. Then Moore steps up and identifies this as a sales drop analysis situation.
Mhm.
It knows just the right agent to call on for this particular problem. It's like having a whole team of specialists in Mars knows exactly who to call in for each type of challenge.
Okay, and then what does the specialist do? Does it have like a plan for dealing with sales slumps?
You got it.
Okay.
This agent has a predefined task execution procedure. We call it a TEP. Think of it like a playbook for addressing sales dips.
Okay, so what's in this playbook?
Well, it might start by calling a specific function to identify the menu items that have seen the biggest drop in sales. Maybe there's a dish that used to be a bestseller, but now people just aren't ordering it as much. Then the agent digs deeper, analyzing all your sales data and trends to pinpoint the potential reasons behind the decline. Is it the price? Has a competitor introduced a similar dish? Are people just not into that type of cuisine anymore?
So it's not just giving me a raw data dump, it's actually doing the analysis and trying to make sense of the numbers. That's way more helpful than me just staring at a spreadsheet all day.
Exactly. And finally, after all that analysis, the agent communicates its findings to you in a clear, easy-to-understand way. And here's the really cool part. It might even suggest potential solutions.
Wait, so it's not just telling me what's wrong, it's actually giving me ideas on how to fix it. That's
Yeah.
like having a consultant and a data analyst rolled into one.
Exactly. And all of this is happening because Marco is built on this multi-agent structure, which is really its secret weapon. Each agent gets to focus on its specific area of expertise, which naturally leads to better results.
So instead of having one generalist AI trying to do everything, you have a whole team of specialists, each bringing their A game to the table.
That's the idea. And because these agents can work in parallel, they can speed up the entire process dramatically.
It's like having a team of chefs working in a kitchen, right? Each one focused on their own part of the meal to get everything cooked and plated up as quickly and efficiently as possible.
That's a great analogy. And speaking of efficiency, let's talk about how Marco stacks up against the competition. We've got some research findings to share that really highlight the power of this multi-agent approach. Okay, so let's talk numbers. How does Marco actually perform compared to a traditional single-agent AI? Well, the research is pretty compelling. When we tested Marco head-to-head against a single-agent system, it really blew the competition out of the water.
Okay, give me the highlights. What kind of improvements are we talking about here?
Well, in terms of accuracy, Marco achieved significantly higher scores across the board. It's
Yeah.
getting things right more often, which is obviously crucial when you're talking about real-world applications.
Right, because a fancy AI that can't deliver the right answers is about as useful as a chocolate teapot. Accuracy is key. But what about speed? I'll admit I'm not the most patient person when it comes to waiting for technology to do its thing.
Well, you're in luck.
Yeah.
Because Marco is also significantly faster. We saw a whopping 44.91% improvement in latency compared to the single-agent system. That means you're getting your answers quicker, and those tasks are being completed at a much faster pace.
So it's not just smarter, it's faster too.
Yeah.
That's a win-win in my book. Any other benefits worth highlighting?
Yeah, there's one more that's particularly important for practical applications: cost effectiveness. Marco actually proved to be 33.71% more cost-effective than the single-agent system.
That's huge. So we're talking about an AI system that's more accurate, faster, and cheaper to run. Sounds like Marco is really checking all the boxes. Now, you mentioned testing this in a restaurant scenario. Did you also explore other real-world applications for Marco?
We did. In addition to restaurants, we also put Marco to the test in a retail setting.
Right.
We wanted to see how well it could handle the complexities of managing inventory, interacting with customers, and optimizing pricing strategies.
Okay, so Marco is tackling sales slumps in restaurants and streamlining operations in retail. Give me the inside scoop. How did it perform? Was it able to adapt to these different domains?
It absolutely did.
Hmm.
And that adaptability is one of the most exciting things about Marco. Its modular design means you can just plug in different agents and tools depending on the specific needs of the industry. It's like having a Swiss Army knife of AI, ready to tackle any challenge you throw at it.
Okay, but was there anything that tripped it up? Any areas where it didn't quite live up to the hype?
Well, oh, country 'tis perfect, right?
Yeah.
We did find that certain factors could influence Marco's performance. For example, the length of the input text and the complexity of the output could affect the processing time.
Right, that makes sense. If I'm asking it to analyze a massive data set or generate a super detailed report, it's going to take a bit longer than if I'm just asking it a simple question.
Exactly. Think of it this way. Reading a lengthy novel takes more time than skimming a short article. And similarly, generating a complex output like a multi-page report with charts and graphs takes more time than a simple one-line answer.
Okay, fair enough. So there are some limitations, but overall it sounds like Marco is a seriously impressive system, especially with those guardrails in place to keep everything running smoothly.
Absolutely. And remember, those guardrails aren't just about preventing errors. They're also a crucial part of Marco's learning process.
Okay, I'm intrigued. How do they actually help the AI learn and improve?
Well, the guardrails use something called reflection prompts to guide the AI agents toward the right answer. So instead of just punishing them for making mistakes, they actually help them understand what went wrong and how to do better next time.
So it's more like coaching than disciplining. It's giving the AI agents the feedback they need to grow and improve their skills.
Exactly. And the research really highlights the impact of these reflection prompts. When we removed them from the system, Marco's accuracy actually took a nosedive. It really underscores how important they are for achieving that high level of performance.
So it's not just about catching errors, it's about using those errors as opportunities for learning and improvement. That's brilliant. It really speaks to the potential of Marco to become even more powerful and capable over time.
And this learning process isn't just happening in isolation, you know. Remember, Marco operates in a dynamic real-time environment. It's constantly interacting with new information, new situations, and new challenges. And all of that feeds into its learning process.
It's like the AI equivalent of on-the-job training. It's not just learning from its mistakes. It's learning from every new interaction, every new piece of data it processes. And that continuous learning cycle is what's so exciting about this technology.
Right. Now, we tested Marco with several different large language models,
Hmm.
including both open source and proprietary models, to see how it performed with various underlying brains, so to speak.
Okay, so you're not just testing Marco as a whole system, you're also experimenting with different language models to see which ones perform best within this multi-agent framework. So what did you discover? Was there a clear winner?
Out of all the models we tested, Claude 3 Sonnet emerged as the top performer. It achieved an impressive 94.48% accuracy for the restaurant dataset and 92.74% for the retail dataset.
Those are some seriously high accuracy rates. But what about speed? Did Claude 3 Sonnet also deliver on the responsiveness front?
It did. It achieved those high accuracy rates with a latency of just over 5 seconds, which is incredibly fast for real-time interactions.
So it's accurate, it's fast, and it seems to be a perfect match for Marco's multi-agent architecture. It's like you found the perfect ingredient to take this AI recipe to the next level.
Now let's shift gears for a moment and talk about what all of this means for the average person.
Okay, bring it down to earth for me. How could this kind of technology actually impact my life?
Well, imagine a world where interacting with computers is as easy and natural as having a conversation with a friend. No more struggling with complex interfaces, deciphering cryptic error messages, or spending hours trying to figure out how to use a new software program.
That sounds like a dream come true,
Oh,
especially for someone like me who's not exactly a tech whiz.
exactly. With a system like Marco, you could simply speak your request in plain English, and the AI would take care of the rest. Need to schedule an appointment, analyze some data, or even brainstorm some creative ideas. Just ask Marco.
So it's like having a personal assistant, a data analyst, and a creative collaborator all rolled into one. Sign me up. But seriously, this has the potential to be a truly democratizing technology. It could empower anyone to access powerful tools and information, regardless of their technical skills.
Precisely. And as Marco continues to evolve and adapt to new domains, the possibilities are truly limitless.
It's an exciting time to be witnessing the birth of such transformative technology. But before we get too carried away with all the possibilities, let's get back to those reflection guardrails for a moment. We were just talking about Marco's reflection guardrails and how they use those prompts to help the AI agents learn from their mistakes. What I'm curious about is how this whole communication flow works. You've got the user interacting with the AI, and then you've got all these different AI agents interacting with each other and with different tools in the background. How does Marco keep all of that straight?
It's like a well-choreographed dance, really. You make a request, the intent classifier interprets it. Marco delegates tasks to the specialized agents. Those agents communicate with tools, gather results, and report back. There are a lot of moving parts, but Marco makes sure everything flows smoothly.
Okay, but how does it prevent things from getting lost in translation, so to speak? How can you be sure that the AI agents are understanding each other correctly and not making assumptions or misinterpreting information?
Well, Marco uses specific roles or labels for different types of messages.
Yeah.
So you'll have function responses, tool responses, guardrail alerts, and so on. It's a way of tagging each piece of information so everyone knows exactly what they're dealing with.
So it's like having a clear set of communication protocols, ensuring that everyone is speaking the same language,
Hmm.
and that helps to prevent errors and misunderstandings that could throw the whole system off track.
Exactly. And it also helps to prevent anyone from trying to game the system or introduce malicious inputs. Because everything is clearly labeled and categorized, it's much harder to trick the AI into doing something it shouldn't.
That's really smart. It makes me think about something else. How does Marco handle context? Like, let's say I'm having a multi-turn conversation with it. Does it remember what I said earlier, or do I have to repeat myself every time I ask a new question?
That's a great question. And the answer is yes. Marco does remember the conversation history. In fact, each task agent has access to the entire conversation, so no crucial information gets lost along the way.
So it's like having a shared memory bank, allowing all the agents to stay on the same page and build upon previous interactions. I don't have to keep reminding it who I am or what we've already talked about.
Precisely. And that's really important for maintaining coherence and efficiency in multi-turn conversations. It streamlines the process and prevents a lot of unnecessary back and forth.
So if I mentioned something earlier in the conversation, let's say my customer ID number or a specific product I'm interested in, a later task agent can automatically access that information without me having to repeat it.
Exactly. That shared context is crucial for making the entire interaction feel more natural and intuitive.
You know, it's amazing to think about how much thought and ingenuity has gone into designing a system like this. It's not just about the AI algorithms themselves, it's about all the supporting infrastructure that makes those algorithms work effectively in real-world scenarios.
Absolutely. And that's what makes ARCO so groundbreaking. It's not just a theoretical concept. It's a practical solution that's been carefully designed and tested to handle the complexities of real-world tasks.
And as you mentioned earlier, you tested Marco in both restaurant and retail settings, using specific data sets to really put it through its paces. Can you tell us a little bit more about those data sets? What kind of information did they contain, and why were they important for evaluating Marco's performance?
Sure. The restaurant dataset we used was designed to mimic a digital restaurant service platform. It included all sorts of realistic scenarios like managing menu updates, processing orders, tracking sales data, and responding to customer inquiries. We wanted to see how well Marco could handle the day-to-day operations of a busy restaurant.
So it wasn't just hypothetical scenarios, it was real-world data that reflects the kinds of challenges restaurants face every day.
Exactly. And the retail dataset was similar in that it focused on the key tasks involved in running a retail business, like managing inventory processing transactions, interacting with customers, and optimizing pricing strategies.
And the fact that Marco excelled in both of these domains really speaks to its versatility and adaptability. It's not just a one-trick pony, it's a system that can be applied to a wide range of industries and tasks.
That's the beauty of its modular design. You can swap in different agents and tools depending on the specific needs of the industry or task at hand.
So it's like having a universal translator for the business world, able to understand and act on complex tasks regardless of the specific industry jargon.
That's a great way to put it.
Well, I have to say, this has been an incredibly insightful deep dive into the world of Marco. I feel like I've gone from what's Marco to, wow, this could really change things in the span of a single conversation.
I'm glad to hear that. It's definitely an exciting area of research with the potential to transform the way we interact with technology.
And as you mentioned earlier, this is still just the beginning. As Marco continues to learn and evolve, who knows what amazing things it will be capable of.
Exactly. The possibilities are truly limitless. And as we continue to explore the potential of multi-agent AI systems like Marco, I think we're going to see some truly groundbreaking applications emerge in the years to come.
It's a fascinating time to be alive, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for AI. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.